Life was pretty sweet. Hella ambled along the lakeshore, the heels of her black knee-high boots clicking on the pale golden flagstones that formed the broad promenade, and her gaze on the stunningly blue water to her right as it twinkled in the artificial sunlight. She sipped her iced coffee, a bounce in her step, her whole body feeling lighter, brighter for finally having swept off the oh-so-clingy nymph. Etherian had been fun for a while. Charming, rich, handsome, no, beautiful. Hella wasn't sure a man should be beautiful, but that was nymphs for you. They weren't gorgeous like incubi, who all looked as if they had just stepped out of Hollywood and easily gave Brad Pitt and Ryan Reynolds a run for their money. No, nymphs crossed the line into beautiful. Every single one of them, looking for all the world as if they had just stepped out of the Wood Elf Kingdom in Lord of the Rings. Man, she could really go for some Legolas right now. She scowled, pushed that thought aside, and stopped her roaming gaze before she could single out any eligible males in the crowded promenade. She wasn't going to backslide. This was going to be her year, one devoted to exploring everything the Fae town she lived in had to offer, which was a lot.
If Grant MacKinnon had been one to wax lyrical, he might have written a poem or two dedicated to the comely red-headed lass who towered over him. But her small-booted foot pressing hard against his throat to keep him pinned to the cobbles didn't sit well with him, so he growled at her instead, flashing his emerging fangs. The witch merely smiled in response, her purple-painted lips curling in a way that was mocking. Because it wasn't only her boot keeping him down, making him look like a weak pup in front of half the subterranean Fae town near Fort William in Scotland, as they gathered to see what the commotion was. He slid a glare at several of the males and females, wanting to growl again as he saw the amusement in their eyes. He wasn't their entertainment. Entertainment. Shadows crowded the corners of his mind as it latched onto that word, and echoes of faded feelings rose from the dead, like wraiths, to torment him as he battled both the witch and his past.
"Hear me, and hear me well, Grant MacKinnon of Clan MacKinnon."
And then she spewed something that might have been Latin, or ancient Greek for all he knew. The hairs on his nape rose to stand on end, and his wolf cowered as a current ran down his spine, and the air around him charged with electricity. The bitch was casting magic on him. MacKinnon grabbed her ankle in both hands now, his wolf lunging forwards to snap and snarl as that part of him detected the threat, saw an enemy it wanted to take down and a cage it needed to free itself from. A cage. The lid on his past blew right off the box, and all the dark, ugly things spilled out. He growled and bared his fangs, snapped them as fur rippled over his skin in response to the fierce need to escape, to the memories that surged up like a black tide, threatening to swallow him. When he still couldn't move the witch, he cast a desperate look at several males. None of the bastards looked inclined to help him. Several of them looked away, suddenly interested in their boots. Kin howled as his bones ached, as his muscles clamped down on them with enough force that they felt as if they might snap, and put everything he had into one last effort. Her foot lifted. His eyes widened, and he didn't miss a beat, shoved harder as victory appeared within his reach, fueled by hope that he would be able to escape her before she could complete the spell. But then she smiled wickedly. He howled again as every molecule in his body vibrated, a chain reaction that began in his toes and his fingers and swept through him to collide in his chest. His heart seized, his body feeling fit to burst as he arched off the cobblestones, as pain stole his breath and fire branded his bones. The world wobbled, the ground pitching, and he labored for air and fought the encroaching darkness as his vision tunneled, the witch becoming little more than a smear of crimson and black against a blur of white and turquoise. Her words warbled in his ears.
"Find your fated one and bring her to me."